Now, here at the Young Turks, we've been saying for a long time that cash rules everything around me. And it turns out that even some in the media, even Republicans, are catching on that that might be true. Now, of course, they've known it for a long, long time. But what hasn't happened very much is people admitting it on TV, as Joe Scarborough, of all people, does here.
Joe and Nicole, who in the Republican Party has enough of a voice, the strength of voice, to stand up and tell people like Ted Cruz, look at what we missed by doing the government
Only the
shutdown.
money people.
Who?
Only the money people.
Look at
Well, Jeb Bush tried on Sunday.
They don't care. They don't listen. They listen to the money people. I'll tell you what, when the money people come in and say to some of these guys, yeah, I know you got 60. I know you're like ahead 60-40 in your district, but I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to come and I'm going to fund a primary opponent. And guess what? He's going to be pro-life. He's going to be pro-gun. He's going to be pro-family. He's going to be pro-tax cuts. But he's going to be a businessman or a businesswoman that's not going to put a gun to my business's head every 3 months, and I'm just going to keep funding him. And we're just going to run 30-second commercials against you. We're going to gut you. That's when it starts to have an impact.
Now, that's the most honest thing Joe Scarborough has ever said. And that's how politics works. It's the money people that make the difference. So the Republicans don't care about anything else. Their constituents, the polls, whatever it might be, they don't care, man. All they care about is the money people. If they come in and say, hey, listen, your work is done here, son. And by the way, already the U.S. Chamber of Commerce and other business groups throughout the country are threatening Tea Party Republicans with primary challengers exactly as Joe Scarborough described, conservative, but with a mind towards business interests. All of a sudden, the Tea Party Republicans at the end go, did we say debt ceiling? I don't think we meant debt ceiling. So the only people that matter are the money people. And in fact, a lot of those corporate CEOs are now turning around and saying, hey, these Republicans have gone too far. We'll do primary challenges to the Republicans. And because ultimately, of course, the Republican Party is the big business pro-corporate party. But also, the Democrats lately have been doing a terrific job of representing corporate America and our corporate interests. And so if we got rabid guys here who are threatening defaulting on the debt that, by the way, a lot of our banks hold, well, then maybe we should give money to the Democratic Party. And in fact, that's exactly what they've done. The Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee brought in $8.4 million in just September alone. That's $3.1 million more than the Republicans in the same bracket. So $8.4 million, that's $3 million more, is a gigantic lead. That's basically big money saying, the money people, as Scarborough calls them, saying, whoa, you Tea Party folks, you better watch yourself, okay? There's a reason why we're the establishment. We have the money and we rule. And so now money's shifting over to the Democrats, and lo and behold, all of a sudden, Democrats win. Interesting how that works. All right. Well, there is one thing you can do about it. Do you have any idea what that is? Oh my God, how did you know? You're right, wolf-pack.com. You know what's awesome? Democracy. At the national level, I've totally forgotten it. But it's amazing that someone actually represents you, and if you call them, they listen to you, and they go, oh, really? Okay, let me take that into account. Oh, look at that, 3 people called me, or 10 people called me. Well, then that probably represents a lot of people in my district. I should do something about that. If we actually had democracy, and we do at the state level in a lot of ways, it's a wonderful thing. Can you imagine if the only people that mattered weren't just the money people? Could you imagine if you mattered? Now, I asked this in a speech just yesterday. Does anybody actually think that if they make under $100,000 a year, that they have any prayer of being able to serve in the United States Congress as a congressman or a senator? Now, you don't believe that, do you? Like, if you got a normal job in America and you make under $100,000, do you think you can run for Congress and you could win? Well, if you think that, I got bad news for you, right? You have no prayer whatsoever. The first thing they ask you, and pretty much the only thing they ask you, is how much money do you have and how much money do the people you know have, okay? If you don't have the money, you're not going to Congress. This is not what our founding fathers envisioned for our democracy. They actually believed that all of us could rule ourselves. Representative government. We don't have it, but we can. Could you imagine if anybody could run for Congress? If you actually represented the people in your community, and so they selected you, wouldn't that be amazing? And isn't that the system we're supposed to live under? wolf-pack.com. Go!